Welcome back to the CryptoBot channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin is still trading within a sideways price range, this could be the calm before the storm because a massive price squeeze is pending for the price of Bitcoin, potentially imminent for the price of Bitcoin, and not just Bitcoin. If we're taking a look at the price of Solana, we're seeing something very similar, the price entering into a tightening range, just like XRP, basically reducing volatility in the shorter term, getting closer towards potentially a massive move, while the price of Chainlink is now bouncing from this critical area on the price chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before we take a look at the Bitcoin charts today, taking a real quick look at the Bitcoin news today, because Michael Saylor just tweeted out this tweet right here, essentially talking about the Michael Saylor or MicroStrategy portfolio tracker. And of course, he also hinted in this tweet something about tomorrow. And in case you didn't already know, essentially pretty much every time, at least in recent weeks, over the last few months or so, pretty much every single time just before Michael Saylor announces a massive Bitcoin purchase under MicroStrategy, basically the day before those purchases, he tweets something like this. And so in other words, when he tweets out this screenshot right here of the MicroStrategy portfolio tracker, basically the next day or in the next few days, they announce that they made a massive purchase in Bitcoin. And so do not be surprised if maybe tomorrow or in the next few days, there's massive news with more purchases by MicroStrategy accumulating more and more Bitcoin. So of course, that is bullish for Bitcoin, seeing all of this buying pressure. And already they currently hold close to $50 billion worth of Bitcoin, in case you didn't already know. And so one of the largest Bitcoin whales in the world is still buying Bitcoin and will likely just about to announce that they're buying more Bitcoin in the coming days. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today on the weekly time frame, technically we're still within a larger bull market, playing out this bull market signal. And if we're looking at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we're starting to regain some bullish momentum in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, but we're still not seeing a lot of bullish momentum, at least so far. And so as I've been saying just recently here on the channel, we're potentially at the early stages of starting that next major move in the price of Bitcoin, which could really start in the coming days or in the coming weeks. Because if we're looking at what happened last time, we saw very similar signals to what we're seeing right now. Basically, it was at the end of January and even early February. That is where we started that next major move and began seeing a lot more momentum. And so just in the short term, obviously be patient for now, because very soon we may end up seeing that next massive move. So this could really be the calm before the storm. And if we're taking a look at this 4-day Bitcoin chart, the super trendy indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, of course, there is still a possible bearish divergence forming on the weekly time frame, which is still something to pay attention to in case it properly confirms. But for now, we're still waiting for some more confirmation here. And so overall, based on all of this information, we are looking more bullish than bearish. Of course, this is a possible warning signal, possible bearish signal to pay attention to, but overall, we have more things that are bullish than what is bearish as of right now. So we're still within a larger bull market, of course, potentially about to begin that next major move very soon in the coming days or weeks. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, of course, technically speaking, this breakout towards the upside from this triangle pattern is still actively playing out with a price target, which is in play at around $116,000 per Bitcoin. So that is the price target to pay attention to. But of course, in the immediate short term, we're lacking a bit of bullish momentum, as we can see. And one of the reasons as to why we're lacking some bullish momentum in the short term is due to the fact that we're seeing a lot of resistance in this price range right here, which I've been talking about for a while now on the channel. And that's sitting in between around 106,000 to 107,000. So like I've been saying a lot recently here on the channel, before these rejections, I've been saying expect a lot of resistance, expect struggle in this price range. And so this is essentially preventing the price of Bitcoin from heading up towards that 116K price target, at least in the short term. That is basically a major obstacle for the price of Bitcoin. But once we can eventually see a confirmed breakout with candle closes above ideally 107,000, then in that case, of course, we'll likely head up towards new new all-time highs and closer towards this price target. But we have to remember that even though the price of Bitcoin over the last few days has obviously been very boring, just chopping around sideways, doing barely anything for the last few days, we have to remember that the price of Bitcoin is sitting just underneath all-time record highs. So all things considered, it is not too bad for the price of Bitcoin where it's sitting at right now. Obviously, the all-time high as of recording this video is sitting at roughly around 109,000, and the price of Bitcoin as of recording this video is sitting at roughly around 105,000. And it was only just a matter of months ago, just a couple of months ago, a few months ago, the price of Bitcoin was below $70,000 all the way back down here, and people talking about 100K just a few months ago were seen as massively moon boys, just perma bulls essentially, expecting way too high price targets. And so obviously we saw that massive move very, very quickly. So it's perfectly normal to see these cool offs, just a little bit of a time to basically reset and cool off from all of this bullish price action here before getting ready for that next major move. And if you want to take advantage of that next major move in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, obviously you have to get set up ready to go on an exchange in order to actually trade these moves in the price of any crypto. And personally, I take a lot of my trades over on Bitfinex, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some exclusive bonuses that are only available using that link. So for example, if you use that link to make your account and then just deposit $1,000, you get a $100 bonus straight into your new account. Or if you start trading on that account using that link, you can get up to a brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max simply just by trading crypto. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And also, in case you're wondering, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitfinex as an exchange, there is also Bybit as another option out there, another exchange that I also use. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bybit below this video. And if you use that link, you can claim a 500 USDT position airdrop, but that's only available if you use the link below this video in the description or in the pinned comment. And if we're taking just another quick look at this 8-hour time frame, we still have this area of support coming into play at around 101,000 to 103,000, obviously supporting the price of Bitcoin, the opposite to this resistance, still sitting in between 106 to 107,000. And so for now, the price of Bitcoin is simply just within a sideways price range, chopping around sideways, as I've been saying for the last few days. Obviously, we're looking very neutral just in the short term, but the longer we stay in this sideways price range, the more massive that next move will likely be, that next volatile move. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we're obviously continuing to see more liquidity build just above the price and some liquidity build just below the price. So first of all, we have some liquidity sitting at around 101,000 approximately and just underneath 101K, but most of the liquidity, at least in the short term, is sitting at around 107.4K to 108K. And so really right around 107 to 108,000, give or take, we have a lot of liquidity right there, which is of course just above this area of resistance. So first we have to break out above this resistance before we can start wiping out that liquidity at just above 107,000, just above this resistance. And in case you're new to all of this, when the price of Bitcoin crosses above this area of liquidity, that essentially wipes out short positions, that liquidates short positions. And when shorts get wiped out or liquidated, they essentially have to buy back into the underlying asset, in this case buying back into Bitcoin, which can help to push the price higher, which can liquidate more short positions and so on. That is what's called a short squeeze. And essentially, the longer the price just does nothing here and stabilizes in the short term, the more liquidity will likely build just above the price, just above this resistance, and also below the price. So basically, we're getting closer towards a massive move either way, but for now, it's looking slightly more likely it'll be a bullish move based on the fact that we have more liquidity towards the upside than what we have towards the downside. But ultimately, we simply just have to wait for a break of either support or resistance. And in the meantime, we're looking extremely neutral. But like I said, overall on the larger time frames, we're still in a larger bull market. So things are currently looking more bullish than bearish, especially when we're zooming out. And I can say basically the exact same thing for Solana on the weekly time frame, because Solana Solana on the weekly time frame is still within a larger bull market, forming higher lows and higher highs. We still have an active bullish price target sitting at around $374, but of course in the short term we're currently lacking momentum. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 8-hour time frame, obviously right now the price of Solana is trading between support and resistance. So first of all, we have this lower horizontal level of support at around $232, and we also have this short-term horizontal level of support at $246, and we have this horizontal level of resistance at around $260, and this higher level of resistance up here at around $271. And so for now, just in the short term, the price of Solana is basically just chopping around sideways within a sideways price range. But if we're zooming further into the short term on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that right now the price of Solana, at least on the 4-hour time frame, is trending ever so slightly in the bullish direction. So we're not perfectly sideways, we're actually trending very slightly in the bullish direction with slightly higher lows and higher highs on the 4-hour time frame. But this is also potentially forming a rising wedge pattern, which I'll talk more about in my last video here on the channel. So if you missed that video, and if you want to know more about this technical pattern and the technical price targets for this pattern, then check out my last video just yesterday, because since my last video, barely anything has changed based on this chart. And with that being said, getting straight into the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame. And right now, Chainlink is actually bouncing, at least for now, bouncing from this important area of previous resistance, now acting as new support. And so obviously this is good to see, because if we were to see a confirmed break with daily candle closes back below this area, so back below around $24.50, and especially if we confirmed a daily candle close back below $24, at least in the shorter term for the following days or weeks, that would be bad news for the price of Chainlink, and I would no longer expect this falling wedge to continue to play out. But for now, so far so good. Things are currently looking okay for the price of Chainlink. Of course, we're also lacking some bullish momentum in the shorter term, as the price has been mostly just chopping around sideways for the last few days. In fact, for the last week almost, we've just been trading sideways for the most part, very similar to Bitcoin. So of course, a lot of the major altcoins out there follow similar price action to Bitcoin. So really keep an eye on what Bitcoin is doing in order to expect what is most likely going to happen for a lot of the major altcoins. But for now, despite the lack in bullish momentum in the shorter term, Chainlink is still looking more bullish than bearish, because we're currently holding above this area, which is bullish price structure. Previous resistance flipping into new support is price structure heading in the bullish direction. So we still have a price target in play based on this falling wedge, sitting at the top of the wedge at close to $29.30. And so other than this slight bounce from this area, honestly, not a lot has changed for the price of Chainlink over the last one day. So getting straight into the price of XRP, and we could see that over the last 24 hours, XRP has basically been a stable coin. We've traded almost perfectly sideways with just minor little bounces and dumps along the way, but we can barely call these bounces or dumps. It's almost perfect sideways. But like I said earlier in the video, the longer the price of really any crypto asset, the longer the price just trades sideways like this, especially for a major crypto asset like XRP or Bitcoin, for example, the longer the price trades sideways like this, the bigger or more volatile that next major move will likely be. Because essentially, while the price is doing this, as I explained earlier in the video, it's also the case for XRP. We likely have a lot of liquidity building on both sides of the price, which will ultimately cause a major squeeze or a liquidation event either way. And the support and resistance to watch out for, first of all, we have a lot of support in the short term at this level at around $3.04, and also more support at around $2.95. But really in between around $2.90 to $3, we have a decent area of support down there. And as for the area of resistance to watch out for, it's really sitting in between around $3.30 to $3.40, but more specifically, I'll be paying attention to the area in between $3.29 to $3.37 as major resistance, at least in the short term. And in terms of the trend and momentum for the price of XRP, of course, when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture on the weekly time frame, for example, we are within a larger bull market, just like Bitcoin, for example. But of course, here in the short term, we're lacking momentum, looking extremely neutral, at least for now, just in the short term. And honestly, I'll just pay attention to the Bitcoin price. For example, if the price of Bitcoin breaks out above this resistance or breaks below this support, basically XRP will likely follow that same direction. And also, there's a very high probability that whatever that next major move in the price of Bitcoin is, XRP will likely have an even larger move. So for example, if Bitcoin has a 5 or 10% move, the XRP move may be, let's just say 20, 30% or even more. And so while a lot of people are getting bored with the current price action in the short term, this is the time to pay the most attention to crypto because we're getting ready for that next major move. Obviously, you don't want to be paying attention just after we've already made a major move. You want to be paying attention basically when the price is boring before the major move. And so, like I said earlier, definitely make sure you're set up ready to go on an exchange to take these moves as soon as they happen. Once again, links below if you want to claim those extra bonuses over on those exchanges. But with that being said, taking a real quick look at the price of Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still trading just above this Fibonacci level of support at around 32.30 approximately, so just above 3.2k, acting as major support. So not much else has really changed here on the 3-day time frame over the last 1 day. And taking a look at the daily time frame, we're still trading within this sideways price range, just chopping around between support and resistance. So first of all, we have this area of support still sitting in between 3,000 to 3.1k, with some support just above 3.1k around 31.30 acting as support, and we have this area of resistance sitting in between 34.30 to 35.60, and of course other levels of resistance further towards the upside. But ultimately, for the time being and over the last couple of weeks, the price of ETH is basically just within a sideways price range, as we can see, chopping around between support and resistance. So in the immediate short term, we're looking very neutral, basically lacking momentum, along with a lot of the major cryptos at the moment. But like I said earlier, the longer the price stays within a bit of a sideways price range, the larger that next massive volatile move will likely be. And so obviously for the crypto holders and the crypto traders out there, just be patient. This is the time to get set up, ready to go to take the coming trading opportunities that will likely happen over the next few days or weeks. The moment we start that next major liquidation event, we'll likely see a very volatile move in the coming days or weeks. So just be patient. And once again, if you want to get set up, ready to go to take these trading opportunities potentially coming soon, get set up, ready to go using those links to those exchanges if you want to claim those extra bonuses down below this video. And also, if you actually want to know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.